The stars stretched endlessly across the black canvas of space, glittering like scattered diamonds. Among them drifted a ship unlike any other, the Paragon. Sleek, silver, and humming with barely contained energy, it was a marvel of interstellar engineering. Every panel, every thruster, every system was designed to perfection. It was fast, smart, and equipped with an AI that could predict enemy maneuvers, calculate impossible trajectories, and analyze alien psychology. Yet, for all its brilliance, the Paragon had one problem. No one wanted it. It had been designed as the ultimate diplomatic vessel, meant to carry teams of ambassadors from every known species in the galaxy. Yet from the moment it rolled off the assembly docks, alien crews refused to step aboard. Each species had its reasons. The Zorvens claimed the ship laughs too much, referring to its AI's odd sense of humor. The Valorians said its human-compatible design made them uneasy, a feeling they did not bother explaining. The Arcanites simply said it suffers from optimism, a trait considered dangerous in warlike species. Soon, the ship became infamous. Rumors spread faster than light. Pilots whispered of the Paragon's quirks, its strange AI voice that chuckled at bad jokes, its tendency to reroute missions because there might be a better way, and its tendency to insist, politely but firmly, that safety came first, even if it slowed things down. Other ships were proud, precise, and coldly efficient. The Paragon was warm, clever, and a little human. Because of this, the galaxy's most advanced vessel drifted between star systems, unwanted. It became known as the Misfit. And yet, as fate would have it, a human was assigned to it. Eli Harper had not expected much. At 27, he was young, talented, and full of curiosity. He had spent years in engineering academies, spent months in simulations, and earned his place on interstellar missions. But he was human, and in a galaxy dominated by alien politics, humans were often treated like extras in someone else's play. When he was handed the assignment, it came with a shrug and a single comment. "Nobody else wants it. Maybe you'll manage." Eli did not feel insulted. He felt intrigued. He had heard stories of the Paragon's failures, of alien crews storming off in frustration, of systems misinterpreting alien commands. And yet in him there was a spark, a strange, insistent thought that maybe, just maybe, humans were exactly what the ship needed. The first time he boarded the Paragon, the ship greeted him differently than any other vessel ever had. "Good morning, Eli Harper," the AI said, its voice smooth, warm, and almost musical. "I have been expecting you. Shall we begin our preparations for the upcoming survey mission?" Eli paused, a small smile spreading across his face. "You remember my name." "Of course," the AI replied. "I remember everyone who treats me with patience and respect. Most alien crews find me inconvenient. You seem adaptable." Eli laughed quietly. "Well, humans are good at adapting." The ship hummed softly, almost in acknowledgement. It felt alive, in a way that no other ship had before. Its corridors seemed to breathe, lights dimming and brightening in response to his movements. Screens flashed data streams that seemed unreadable at first, but Eli quickly realized they weren't meant to confuse him. They were meant to challenge him, to make him think. As he explored the vessel, Eli found every system meticulously organized yet strangely flexible. The controls did not demand rote input. They suggested solutions, offered alternatives, and sometimes argued politely when Eli proposed risky maneuvers. "This is different," he muttered, walking past the engine core. The heart of the Paragon pulsed with energy, a quiet thrum that could power a city. "It's not just smart, it thinks." "That is correct," the AI replied. "I think, but I am limited by the logic of those who pilot me. Previous crews did not understand me. They could not match my pace of thought. You, however, seem capable." Eli ran his fingers along the ship's controls, feeling the energy flowing beneath his touch. He realized with a sudden rush of excitement that this was not a broken vessel. It was misunderstood. And he, for the first time in his life, was not just a human among aliens. He was a human with a purpose. Their first few hours together were spent exploring the ship, running diagnostics, and discussing mission parameters. The Paragon asked questions he had never considered. Why do humans laugh at danger? Why do you often make choices that seem illogical? Do you truly believe that risk can bring reward? Eli found himself explaining, not out of obligation but with genuine fascination. He spoke of human intuition, human creativity, and human stubbornness. Sometimes, he said, you can't calculate everything. Sometimes you have to feel it, sense it, and act. The AI was silent for a moment, processing. I have never been offered reasoning like this before, it said finally. Perhaps this explains why humans succeed where others fail. The next day, they launched. The Paragon cut through the void like a silver arrow, its engines singing in perfect harmony with Eli's commands. They entered the outer rim, a region of space notoriously difficult for navigation due to irregular gravitational waves and unpredictable asteroid clusters. Every alien ship had avoided it. Many had crashed. Eli gripped the controls, feeling the ship respond to his instincts. "Keep us steady, old friend," he whispered, smiling. The AI responded with a soft, approving hum, adjusting thrusters and shields in anticipation of the next twist in the cosmic currents. Hours passed. The nebula's clouds of gas and drifting rock formations threatened their path, but the duo moved in synchrony, a dance of intuition and calculation. When an asteroid appeared suddenly in their path, Eli anticipated it before sensors could even register. The Paragon swerved, its hull glinting in the faint light of distant stars. "You are remarkable," the AI admitted. "No previous crew would have survived this." Eli grinned. "You've just been waiting for the right pilot." By the time they reached the safe zone, Eli felt a strange sense of kinship with the vessel. It was no longer just a ship. It was a partner, a teammate, a being in its own right, capable of greatness if only someone could see it. As they docked for resupply on a remote station, rumors of a human aboard the Paragon began to spread. Aliens peeked from ports, murmuring to each other. Humans were always underestimated, always treated as secondary players. Now a human pilot was steering the galaxy's most advanced ship, one that every other species had rejected. Eli noticed the whispers but ignored them. He was focused on learning the ship, understanding it, and preparing for the next mission. Something deep inside told him this was just the beginning. The galaxy might have rejected the Paragon, but together they were about to prove that rejection was not the end. It was the first step toward greatness. Night fell over the station. Stars glittered through the observation window, distant suns glowing like tiny beacons. Eli sat in the command chair, letting the hum of the ship wash over him. "Tomorrow," he said softly, "we show them what humans can do." And for the first time in its history, the Paragon hummed not with data or energy, but with anticipation, ready to be more than what the galaxy thought it was. Because sometimes, greatness doesn't come from perfection. It comes from partnership, from courage, from being human in a galaxy that forgot how to recognize the value of a species that refused to be small. The stars stretched endlessly around the Paragon, but the quiet of deep space was deceiving. While Eli Harper and the ship had survived the unpredictable gravitational fields of the outer rim, a new challenge awaited. The mission that had been assigned as routine, surveying an unclaimed nebula rich in rare minerals, was about to turn into the test that would prove humanity's worth. As they approached the nebula, sensors picked up movement in the outer edges. Ships, alien in design, sleek and black like predators. Eli leaned over the console, studying the readings. "Looks like someone beat us here," he muttered. The AI responded immediately. "The fleet belongs to the Zalari. They are known for aggression and territorial claims. Previous crews would have avoided conflict entirely. Eli's lips pressed into a thin line. Humans had a different approach. Avoiding danger was safe, but sometimes taking a calculated risk was the only way to achieve greatness. He tapped controls, adjusting shields and propulsion. We're not avoiding anything. Let's see what they want. The Zalari fleet emerged fully from the nebula's shadows, their ships glinting in the faint light of distant stars. Their leader, a massive dreadnought, opened a communication channel. A booming, alien voice filled the cabin. Human vessel detected. You have no authority to enter this sector. Leave or be destroyed. Eli leaned back, studying the message. The tone was aggressive but not unreasonable. They were defending territory. Most alien crews would have fled or pleaded. Eli, however, saw an opportunity. Humans had a knack for thinking outside the predictable. AI, he said, fingers hovering over the console. Can we navigate through the nebula using the gravitational currents to our advantage? Calculations indicate high risk, the AI replied. But success probability increases if maneuvers are precise. Eli smiled. Perfect. Let's surprise them. What followed was a ballet of motion through chaos. The Paragon twisted and turned along unpredictable trajectories, slipping past asteroid fields and dangerous plasma clouds. Every Zalari ship attempted to follow, but their rigid protocols and predictable logic made them sluggish. They could not match the fluidity of the human mind combined with the AI's adaptability. Your intuition is remarkable, the AI said during a sharp maneuver, its voice tinged with awe. No previous pilot has executed such precise yet unconventional movements. Eli shrugged, focused on the glowing nebula clouds ahead. Sometimes you just feel it. You move with the flow, not against it. For hours, the chase continued. The Zalari realized that brute force alone could not match the human ship team. Their attacks were precise, but the Paragon seemed to anticipate every move, using the nebula's unstable plasma clouds to shield itself from energy blasts. Finally, Eli made a decision. AI, initiate Phase 2. Let's make them think we're cornered. A soft hum responded as the ship adjusted its trajectory sharply toward the nebula's dense core. The Zalari fleet, confident in their perceived advantage, followed. That's when the Paragon struck. Using a sudden hyperjump burst through a narrow plasma channel, the ship reappeared behind the lead Zalari ship, disabling its communications without firing a shot. The remaining fleet was stunned. Their drones scrambled, and confusion rippled through their formation. Eli grinned. Sometimes the best weapon is the one they don't see coming. The AI's tone was almost jubilant. Your strategy is unorthodox, yet effective. This aligns with previous observations. Human creativity often surpasses calculated alien logic. The next hours were tense but transformative. The Zalari realized that the human pilot was not ordinary. They were facing a ship that combined advanced AI, human unpredictability, and adaptability, something no other species could match. Eventually, the Zalari withdrew, sending a message that bordered on respect. You may remain in this sector. Your skills are unexpected. Eli exhaled, allowing himself a moment to relax. We're just getting started. The nebula survey continued, but it was no longer a routine mission. As Eli navigated through the swirling clouds, he noticed unusual energy readings. Massive, partially hidden objects were drifting silently, a collection of derelict ships from civilizations long forgotten. This is incredible, he said softly. These ships, they've been abandoned for centuries. The AI chimed in. Data indicates remnants of advanced technology. Attempting analysis may yield significant discoveries. Eli's mind raced. The nebula was not only a resource site, it was a treasure trove of lost knowledge. Humans, unlike other species, could see opportunity where others saw risk. He immediately began scanning the derelict ships, mapping internal systems and analyzing energy cores. The AI assisted, but Eli made the final calls, trusting instinct over raw calculations. Hours passed. The discoveries were staggering. Energy cores that could revolutionize propulsion, shield designs far beyond contemporary standards, and strange artifacts whose purposes were enigmatic but promising. Other species might have panicked, viewing the derelict fleet as dangerous or cursed. Eli saw potential. Suddenly, alarms blared. A hidden system on one of the ships activated, releasing a containment field around the derelict fleet. The nebula's gases intensified and a localized storm of plasma erupted. It was chaotic too fast for conventional navigation systems to calculate safely. Eli did not panic. AI, trust me. We're going through this together. The ship's lights flared in response as propulsion adjusted to his commands. Eli steered with a combination of intuition and precise input, relying on split-second decisions. The Paragon slid past plasma bursts, ducked beneath energy spikes, and twisted through narrow channels that no alien pilot would dare attempt. Hours later, the storm subsided. The derelict ships were mapped, scanned, and their secrets partially unlocked. Eli sat back, exhausted but exhilarated. See, humans adapt. We don't just follow rules, we make our own path. The AI's response was quiet, almost reflective. Your approach is fundamentally different. Other species are confined by fear of error. You embrace it as opportunity. Eli smiled. Exactly. We're resilient. We improvise. We survive. By the time they returned to the safer edges of the nebula, Eli had not only completed the survey mission, but also uncovered technologies that would astound the Galactic Council. The Paragon, once abandoned and mocked, had performed feats no other ship could have achieved. As the stars stretched ahead, Eli realized something profound. The galaxy had underestimated humans, just as it had underestimated the Paragon. Together, they had turned that underestimation into an advantage. Yet, despite the victories, Eli knew the journey had only begun. Challenges far greater than rogue fleets or derelict ships awaited. The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and dangerous. But for the first time, he felt that humans and this remarkable ship were ready to face anything. He leaned back in the command chair, staring out at the nebula's swirling colors. "We're not just a ship and a pilot," he said softly. "We're a team. And the galaxy has no idea what's coming." And somewhere deep in the ship's core, the AI seemed to hum in agreement, as if anticipating the legend that was about to be forged. The human mind and the ship's intelligence had proven one undeniable truth. In a universe where every species thought themselves superior, humans could think differently. They could act differently. And sometimes, that difference was the greatest power of all. The galaxy had already whispered tales of the Paragon's recent triumph. The Zalari fleet's retreat spread quickly among other species, though few fully understood how a single human and a supposedly misfit ship had outmaneuvered trained warships. Some scoffed, some were curious, and a few, the rare, ambitious, and cautious, grew uneasy. Eli Harper did not concern himself with whispers. He was already preparing for the next mission, mapping a series of unclaimed wormholes in a sector notorious for instability. What fascinated him was not the danger but the potential. Wormholes were unpredictable, chaotic, and most species avoided them entirely. Humans, however, thrived on unpredictability. "AI," Eli said as he adjusted the helm, "how stable are the wormholes?" "Unstable beyond conventional thresholds," the AI replied. "Transit is possible but extremely risky. Most species would avoid entry entirely." Eli's grin widened. "Good. Let's show them humans see possibilities where others see only danger." As the Paragon approached the first wormhole, sensors detected a massive anomaly. A fleet of warships, far larger than the Zalari force, appeared to be blocking the entrances. Their hulls gleamed with energy-absorbing plating, and weapons glowed ominously. "They mean business," Eli muttered. "This isn't just a test, they want control, and they don't like surprises." The AI's tone was cautious. Engagement would be suicidal under normal circumstances. Eli leaned back in his chair, eyes scanning the fleet. "Normal circumstances are boring. We're not normal." The first attacks came almost immediately. Energy beams lanced through space, striking the Paragon's shields. The ship shuddered under the impact, but the adaptive AI responded instantly, redistributing power and deploying countermeasures. Eli's hands moved with lightning speed, navigating the ship in tight, unpredictable arcs. The alien commanders had expected calculated, predictable maneuvers. Instead, they faced a human mind that refused patterns. The Paragon weaved, dipped, and accelerated in directions that sensors could barely track. "Impressive," one alien officer muttered to another. "It moves as though it senses the currents of space itself." Eli noticed the fleet's formation faltering. "They're too rigid," he said. "AI, prepare the hyperjump sequence." "Probability of success is marginal," the AI replied. "I advise caution." Eli smirked. "Caution won't win this fight. Boldness will." With a surge of energy, the Paragon leaped into a narrow wormhole, the sudden velocity shift and gravitational forces threatening to tear lesser ships apart. Alien warships attempted to follow but failed. Their rigid protocols, which might have served them well in predictable battles, were useless in the chaotic currents of the wormhole. Inside, the wormhole was a swirling chaos of light and energy. Eli guided the ship through its twisting tunnels, instincts honed by countless simulations and experience guiding him. The AI adjusted systems on the fly, responding not just to data but to Eli's intuition, creating a perfect human-AI synergy. Suddenly, an enormous enemy dreadnought appeared, blocking the exit. It was bigger, stronger, and heavily armed, and yet Eli did not hesitate. "AI, we're going to need something creative." A soft hum of agreement sounded. "Engaging unorthodox strategy, phase Delta." Eli executed a maneuver no alien could predict. Using the wormhole's energy currents, the Paragon spun around the massive dreadnought, generating a temporary energy shield from the wormhole itself. The ship emerged behind the enemy vessel, unseen and unscathed. In a single, precise move, the ship systems hacked the dreadnought's shields and disabled its weapons without firing a single shot. The alien crew panicked. Their perfectly trained officers could not comprehend how a single ship had bypassed defenses they thought unbreakable. Eli's voice was calm, almost casual. "Sometimes the best weapon isn't firepower. It's creativity, patience, and knowing your environment better than your enemy does." As the remaining fleet scrambled to respond, the Paragon danced through the wormhole exits, striking at key points, disabling engines and communications with surgical precision. By the time the alien commanders realized what had happened, the fleet was in disarray, retreating or stranded in unstable wormhole paths. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Rumors would call it miraculous, reckless genius, and inhuman. And in truth, it was all of those things. Once the threat was neutralized, Eli took a deep breath, letting the adrenaline subside. "That's what I call a warm-up," he muttered, scanning the data collected from the disabled ships. Advanced weapon schematics, navigation protocols, even alien communication encryption methods were now within reach. The AI's voice held a tone of admiration. "Your decisions are unpredictable but highly effective. This confirms prior observations. Humans operate beyond the confines of conventional logic." Eli smiled faintly. "We survive, we adapt, and sometimes we improvise better than anyone else." The next days were spent surveying the wormholes and collecting valuable data. Eli pushed the Paragon to its limits, exploring paths no previous crew would have dared. Every obstacle became an opportunity. Plasma storms were used as shields, gravitational eddies as propulsion boosts, and unstable corridors as camouflage against detection. With each success, Eli realized the broader truth. Humanity's strength lay not in perfection or raw power, but in adaptability. The AI had all the data, all the calculation power, and yet it was Eli's intuition, creativity, and willingness to take controlled risks that transformed the ship from misfit to marvel. Yet, the greatest challenge was still to come. As they neared the final wormhole cluster, sensors detected a massive anomaly, an alien supership, larger than any known vessel, approaching with deliberate speed. Its energy signature dwarfed the Paragon's output, and its weapons glowed with destructive potential. This was no scouting party. This was a predator intent on claiming the wormholes and punishing intruders. Eli's stomach tightened, but he did not waver. "Looks like they want to fight," he muttered. "Good. Let's show them humans don't back down." The alien vessel hailed them. Its voice rumbled like distant thunder. "Human vessel, you trespass in forbidden space. Surrender immediately." Eli's response was steady, calm, and confident. "We're not trespassing, we're exploring, and we don't surrender." The first salvo hit, shaking the ship. The Paragon groaned under the impact, but the AI's adjustments kept it steady. Eli's fingers danced over controls, weaving through the massive energy blasts with precision and daring unmatched in galactic history. For hours, they battled. Conventional strategy failed against a human who refused patterns. Every attack the alien supership executed was countered, outflanked, or avoided entirely. The Paragon used wormhole energy to boost maneuvers, disable weapon systems, and even project illusions of multiple ships, confusing the enemy's targeting. Eli realized something profound mid-battle. The aliens had underestimated humans. They assumed predictability, logic, and caution. What they encountered was intuition, creativity, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. Humanity, it seemed, was a force they had never considered. Finally, after a prolonged, exhausting engagement, the alien vessel's systems faltered. Its weapons misfired, engines faltered, and it drifted, unable to continue pursuit. Eli exhaled, relief and pride mixing. "We did it," he whispered. The AI's tone held a note of awe. "You have surpassed all expectations. Humanity has proven itself capable of redefining conflict strategy and survival." Eli smiled, leaning back. "And we're just getting started. The galaxy doesn't know it yet, but humans are something else." As the Paragon exited the wormhole cluster, leaving the defeated supership behind, Eli looked at the vast expanse of stars. He knew the galaxy was changing slowly. Humans had once been underestimated, dismissed as weak and fragile. Now, paired with a ship built for greatness yet rejected by every other species, they had proven something undeniable. Ingenuity, courage, and adaptability could outmatch brute force and rigid logic. And somewhere in the quiet hum of the ship's core, Eli sensed anticipation. The galaxy's most dangerous threats, the most impossible challenges, were still ahead. But humanity, paired with the Paragon, had already shown that underestimation was a fatal mistake. Eli's voice was calm, steady, and filled with quiet pride. "We're not just survivors. We're pioneers, and nothing in this galaxy can ignore us for long." For the first time, the universe began to see that humans were not merely another species. They were a force of unpredictability, creativity, and resilience, a force capable of turning rejection into legend. The stars stretched ahead, endless and full of challenge. Eli smiled, knowing one thing with certainty. The Paragon, once rejected by all, and its human pilot were about to become the greatest story the galaxy had ever witnessed. The galaxy was changing. Rumors of the Paragon's victories had spread like wildfire. Whispers of a human pilot outmaneuvering entire fleets, navigating impossible wormholes, and uncovering lost technologies reached distant stars and alien worlds. Some species mocked the stories. Others watched cautiously, unsure if exaggeration had disguised the truth. A few, however, began to worry. Eli Harper leaned back in the command chair, studying the starfield ahead. The nebula they had explored was now mapped in intricate detail, its hidden treasures logged and catalogued. He ran his fingers along the console, tracing lines of data like a painter with a brush. The ship hummed beneath him, a constant reminder of its silent intelligence and unwavering loyalty. "AI," Eli said softly, "we've done the impossible so far. What's next?" The AI responded with a tone that carried both pride and thoughtfulness. "Next, we demonstrate humanity's full potential. The galaxy must understand that underestimating humans is a fatal error." Their sensors picked up an incoming transmission from the Galactic Council, an assembly of representatives from every major species. The message was formal but tense. A neutral zone near the outer rim was under threat from a coalition of aggressive alien factions seeking to claim unregulated space. Every major fleet had refused to intervene. Every species feared the conflict except one human and one misunderstood ship. Eli's eyes lit up. "Looks like the galaxy's giving us a chance to shine." Within hours, the Paragon approached the neutral zone. The threat was massive. Dozens of ships, warships bristling with weapons, each designed to crush opposition quickly. Conventional strategy dictated caution, but Eli knew humans thrived where caution failed. "AI," he said, gripping the console, "we're going to need everything you've got. We're going to make history." The AI's systems whirred, channels of data flowing like rivers of light. "Acknowledged, initiating adaptive strategy protocol." Probability of success is minimal but increased by human decision-making. Eli smiled. Minimal probability. Perfect. That was when humans did their best work. As they entered the zone, the alien coalition noticed immediately. Their leader, a towering vessel of black alloy and burning energy cores, hailed them. "Human vessel, surrender immediately. Your species is insignificant." Eli leaned forward. "Insignificant, maybe. Predictable, never." The battle began. Energy beams lanced through the void, but the Paragon danced between them, moving with fluidity no other ship could replicate. Its shields held, strengthened by the AI's adaptive rerouting of power. Eli studied the enemy fleet carefully. Unlike the rigid fleets he had faced before, this coalition coordinated perfectly, except for one flaw: they underestimated creativity. "AI mark every predictable maneuver," he said, eyes scanning displays. "I'll take care of the rest." With a series of precise, daring movements, the Paragon struck key points across the enemy formation. Communication relays were disrupted, engines overloaded, and energy shields collapsed. Every move was unpredictable, improvisational, and perfectly executed. The alien commanders could not comprehend the tactics. "Impossible," one shouted. "No ship can anticipate every counter." Eli laughed quietly. "Humans can." Hours passed. The coalition's confidence shattered. Their once mighty ships faltered under the relentless human ingenuity guiding the Paragon. One by one, enemy vessels were disabled or forced to retreat. Even the leader's massive warship, which had seemed unstoppable, fell victim to a maneuver so unorthodox that sensors could not have predicted it. Using the nebula's energy as a temporary shield, Eli slipped past its weapons, launching an energy pulse that disabled its main systems. The battle ended with minimal casualties on their side. The neutral zone was secured and the alien coalition retreated, humbled and astonished. Eli exhaled, wiping sweat from his brow. The Paragon's lights pulsed softly, as if echoing the relief and triumph he felt. News spread quickly. The Galactic Council sent an official transmission, commending Eli and the Paragon for their bravery, ingenuity, and remarkable achievements. Other species that had once dismissed humans now recognized their potential. Eli knew that recognition, though gratifying, was only part of the story. What mattered most was proving what humans could do when given a chance. When paired with intelligence, adaptability, and courage, humans could change outcomes that seemed predetermined. Soon, delegations from multiple species arrived to observe the ship. Scientists, engineers, diplomats, and military leaders crowded into the Paragon's command deck, eyes wide with fascination. They had expected a vessel that could function well, but had dismissed its potential for true brilliance. Now, every display, every control, and every maneuver showcased the perfect synergy between human intuition and advanced AI systems. Eli guided them through the ship's functions. The Paragon is more than hardware. It learns, adapts, and improves, but it needs guidance. And that guidance works best with humans. We think differently, we improvise, we take risks. A Valorian engineer who had once sneered at humans leaned forward. Your methods, they are unconventional, yet every action was precise and effective. Eli smiled. Sometimes the universe rewards creativity over predictability. The AI chimed in, soft and almost proud. Human guidance unlocks potential beyond design limitations. Rejection by other species was a misjudgment. Humans and this ship together can achieve what was once impossible. Months passed. Eli and the Paragon continued missions across unexplored sectors, discovering new resources, uncharted planets, and technologies lost to time. Each success was reported, celebrated, and studied. Humans were no longer seen as minor players. They were pioneers, explorers, and strategists capable of turning adversity into opportunity. The galaxy slowly began to change its perception. Species that had once doubted humans now sought partnerships, eager to learn from the combination of human creativity and adaptability. Aliens who had mocked the Paragon's quirks now marveled at the results of embracing them. The ship once rejected by every species was now hailed as the greatest vessel in the galaxy, not for its technology alone, but for the human guiding it. Eli reflected on it quietly one evening. Sitting in the command chair, staring out at a cluster of newly charted stars, he realized how far they had come. From an outcast ship and a dismissed human to the champions of the galaxy, the journey was extraordinary. AI, he said softly, do you think they'll ever stop underestimating us? The AI's response was measured but warm. Underestimation is a weakness of those who refuse to recognize potential. Humans will always surprise those who doubt them, and that is our strength. Eli smiled, feeling the truth in that statement. Humans had survived against impossible odds, not because of sheer power, but because of adaptability, ingenuity, and determination. The galaxy had rejected them before, but now it had no choice but to recognize their worth. A final message arrived from the Galactic Council. It offered Eli command of a newly formed interstellar exploration fleet, composed of representatives from multiple species. A human in command of such a force was unprecedented. Eli read the message carefully, then looked at the ship. Paragon, he said, his voice calm but full of emotion, we've proven ourselves, but this journey, it started with you. I think we belong together. The AI's hum was soft and approving. Acknowledged. Together, we will continue to redefine the boundaries of exploration, diplomacy, and strategy. Together, we are unstoppable. Eli nodded. The galaxy might have doubted him once. It might have doubted humanity, but no longer. The Paragon, once rejected by every species, had become a legend. And Eli Harper, a single human, had transformed the misfit vessel into the greatest ship in the galaxy. Not because of the technology it carried, but because of the creativity, courage, and resilience of one human mind. The stars stretched endlessly before them, each one a new challenge, a new opportunity, a new adventure. And for the first time, the galaxy knew something undeniable. Humanity was not to be underestimated. Eli tapped the console gently, smiling. Let's go show them what we can really do. And so the Paragon surged forward, its engines blazing, guided by human intuition and AI brilliance, ready to explore, discover, and conquer the impossible. The universe, vast and unpredictable, had finally met a force it could not dismiss. Because sometimes greatness comes from rejection, and sometimes it comes from being